Standing with me today are two cousins, Coni and Veronica. To me, they're like sisters. They watch out for one another. They travel together. They do many things together. I'm sure many of you have met them before the day started. I have known them for a little over 10 years now. And we've had our ups and downs. Coni is very strong one way, I'm very strong another. And it's worked out. We're here today. We stand as like brothers and sisters. She has her way, and I have my way.
We still haven't met in the middle.
Well, she's married, I'm married. Okay, each day we see many birds, and we basically take them for, we just take them for granted, such as the robins, the chickadees, the blue jays. But there's a special bird out there that I've noticed that seems to have come to us always early in the month of April, and it's the red-winged blackbird. Coni has followed that kind of tradition. She lives in Louisiana, and she comes like always the spring of the year, so it reminded me of that bird. These red-winged blackbirds, they normally will come to a marshy area, and that's where they have their falling, that's where they have their mating, and that's where they have their small ones. But in the cold weather, they move south, so they're a pretty smart bird. Coni's that bird.
I don't like y'all's numbers.
So anyways, Coni, today, I would like to give her the Indian name of red-winged blackbird. In our words, it says, she who speaks for us. So that's who she would be known as, the red-winged blackbird, or she who speaks for us. Coni, I'm proud to have that name instilled on you. And I noticed that you have it on several of your logos here now. And, it's a proud bird. And, there is the female that's a brown-colored bird, and then there's the male that is black, and he has the red and the yellow wings. But in the marsh area that you must go through to get to my house, when I come up in April, I'm like the snowbirds. I go to Florida for 6 months, and I'm up here for 6 months. And my children will always call me and tell me, Dad, the red-winged blackbirds are back, so I know the weather's going to break, spring is in the air. So again, all these things, they fall right back to time. And to give someone a name, you have to follow them for a while. You just can't pick out a name and just say, well, gee, you're Joe, you're Mark, or you're Mary, or whatever it might be. But in the Indian world, they'll watch you for a while, then they'll give you a name. Now we come down to Veronica. Veronica, I can't remember the state she comes from, but Indiana, right? She's from out in Indiana, so she's kind of a snowbird too, back and forth. But like I say, the two peas in a pod. They kind of travel with one another quite a bit. Veronica, I've noticed that she's been basically the right arm to Coni. She takes all her pictures, and whatever needs to be done, Coni's tied up. You can always bet on Veronica. I took her for a walk in my woods back in Rhode Island, on like a nature walk.
Do we have to talk about this one?
Yeah, this So we're walking through the woods, and we have what we call cup and saucer rocks. It's to be a large rock that's on the ground with another rock that sits on top of it. And the Indians use that as a signal rock, cup and saucer rock. There's different ones throughout the state, but to the Indian it was very, very sacred, because for them that would live in, say, this side of the pond, the others on the other side, they would get that rock moving back and forth and go like dump, dump, and give this type of a sound. And you got to put in your mind that there was no airplanes at that time, there was no trains. The noise you hear today, you wouldn't hear back then. Things were very, very golden and very precious. So the Indians, that's how they sent their signals on these rocks. So I wanted to show them several that was in my area. And Coni was writing books and stories and all that stuff, so they wanted to put all this stuff together. While we're going through the woods, Coni drops her car keys. And, they're out in the middle of nowhere now, and it's a long walk back to his house. And we're tramping through the woods trying to find it, and all of a sudden, the old golden eyes over here, she finds the keys. Out in the middle of nowhere. Just can't imagine walking through the keys. How would you find the keys? But she knew that it was going to be a long back to Indiana and Louisiana, so she put them eagle eyes together and she come up with it. So Veronica, I always thank you for that because I would have been wrong.
Can we give them their first names you gave us? I am she who loses keys, she who finds keys. It was so funny, but it wasn't.
Okay, Connie, again, in Veronica's way, she has been that helper. She's always been there for Connie, and like they're inseparable. So it was only fitting that they both get their Indian names at the same time. So my brother, who's not here today, he does all our Indian names for us, and he gave Veronica the name of Wajin Wabi. It means beauty from above. Like I say, you walk around or wherever you're at, you see birds all the time. But in Connie, where she fits back into this name, to give her that type of a name, if you look at the sky, and you see the clouds, and you see the sun, I'm losing my voice.
Give me water.
Just walking down the road, it got me again today too. It must be the smoke I'm smelling it right now.
Oh, it's probably me.
Oh, you're not smoking a cigarette?
No. We got one, Joanne. I just smoked it.
No, but like I say, if you look towards the sky, you see the clouds, you see the sun, you see the stars, and you see the moon. It's something that you look up to, and Connie fits that way. When we first met her, she was such a friendly, shy type of girl. She wouldn't say 2 words.
Connie?
Veronica.
I knew he wasn't talking about me. Every one of y'all knew he
I
wasn't.
thought I could have another drink. Wait a minute.
If Carl's like, excuse me?
Just the opposite. Switch it, right? She's like a faucet. You turn around, you can't turn her off. She's unbelievable. But anyway, these two, the names that were given to them, I think they're very fitting to them. And I'm sure that they'll walk in honor wherever they travel, whether it's here in this state or Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, wherever they go. I know that they're going to honor the names that were given to them today. Again, in the Indian world, if someone wants a name, if you're over 18, you can pick your own name. But I think it's more fitting that you choose someone that must be a chief of a tribe or must be from the medicine circle of the tribe to give you the name. But again, you do have the right to pick your own name. But the name should be basically fitting to you. It should be kind of like when someone speaks of it, you can kind of see it. You kind of sense it in that person. We had one tribal elder that passed away about 7 or 8 years ago, and they wanted me to speak at her funeral. And her daughter came to me, she said,